is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Cars, trains driven by electromagnets, or household robots that will see to your every need. While modern scientists agree that many of these inventions are either unlikely or unnecessary, it may surprise you to learn what the future could actually hold. Imagine being able to share your thoughts with millions of people at once, simply by typing them on a keyboard and sending them through the air. Think of what life will be like when all of the many fixtures of an office, including a typewriter and an entire Rolodex, can fit within a device smaller than a loaf of bread. Consider the vacation plans you could make when a single trip on an airplane is all that's needed to visit anywhere on Earth. Yes, the future certainly looks bright, but it isn't without its darker sides. According to some predictions, obesity will likely run rampant, and political corruption will become so commonplace as to be accepted. People with nothing entertaining or informative to say will broadcast their demands for attention, and once beloved performers will become pushers of snake oil. Perhaps worst of all will be the emergence of a deadly and potentially devastating disease. Think of the last time that you contracted influenza. You were likely bedridden for days, having no appetite or desire to play games. Experts predict that by the year 2020, a new virus will rise, spreading from somewhere in Asia to the rest of the world. And with international travel being available to even the most common citizen, a sickness which would have been contained in years past will quickly spread to all corners of the globe.
People who want to know what this is and why it's happening. Can you give us an introduction?
Yeah, again, the term geoengineering, aka chemtrails, the layman's term for what we see happening in the skies, but this is weather modification on a global scale. In fact, these programs are so large and so all-encompassing that all other weather modification programs that go on a smaller regional basis are they're negated by the scope and scale of the global geoengineering programs. And these programs involve a number of aspects. You have the saturation of the atmosphere with various chemical and metal particulates. And there appear to be various purposes and objectives with this saturation. In conjunction with the saturation, which ionizes the atmosphere, it makes the atmosphere more conductive, we have the HAARP facilities, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. These are ionosphere heaters. Many have heard of the HAARP facilities. There's not just one or two or three. We believe there's at least 18 around the globe, possibly with 3 more being built in Antarctica right now. And once the atmosphere is saturated with these particulates, and then you add the ionosphere heaters, the entire weather system globally is virtually being thwarted. There is no natural weather at this point, and we really don't know what sort of climate conditions we would have necessarily if these programs were brought to a halt, and they desperately need to be brought to a halt, because the saturation of the atmosphere is thwarting the hydrological cycle. It's totally disrupting the rain cycle. Again, we have the artificially nucleated snowstorms, which I just mentioned. You can't go from 100 degrees to snow in one day without a whole lot of help. This includes jet stream manipulation with the HAARP facilities, and we are not guessing at this. We have monitoring sources for this signal, and we can see where the signal is most intense, and that's what steers the jet stream. So then you add artificial ice nucleation, which is a chemical nucleation process. They can turn what should have been rain into snow and drop the temperatures of these storm systems by this artificial chemical nucleation. This isn't sci-fi, this is hard science fact. The weather disseminating agencies are trying desperately their task, and they're all owned at the very top, it appears, by the Rothschilds and or other parts of the global elite complex. Rothschilds in particular are ownership of Weather Channel, Weather Central, Weather Underground. And it was imperative that they own these agencies, otherwise there would be great discrepancy in trying to explain away these events.
Poland pulls 100 tons of dead fish from the Oder River after mystery mass die-off. Polish firefighters have recovered 100 tons of dead fish from the Oder River running through Germany and Poland, deepening concerns of an environmental disaster for which no cause has yet been identified. Quote, "We'd never had an operation of this scope on a river before," said the National Firefighter Press Office on Tuesday. She confirmed that around 100 tons, or 220,000 pounds of dead fish had been recovered since Friday. More than 500 firefighters had been recovering the dead fish in Poland with the help of dams, boats, quad bikes, and even a drone. German municipalities banned bathing and fishing in the Oder River after thousands of dead fish were found floating in the 520-mile-long river, which runs from the Czech Republic to the Baltic Sea along the border between Germany and Poland. Conservationists expressed fears that the mass die-off of fish could wreak. Okay. And look at...
Oh, the worm.
Look at that guy. He's happy as hell, just cruising around in there.
Wow.
Yep.
Because they have these things in them.
Maybe they'll give me a discount on that one.
Huh.
That's what I'm talking about, though. They're loaded with those parasites. I don't know what they are.
Some dupes, no?
Right here. Fresh coho salmon. It must be fresh. Hell yeah. I mean, if it's got a live worm in there, shit. When you go for tequila, that shit's dead.
Eating bugs for humans is deadly. Period. Okay, so maybe that's the intention with Klaus Schwab. Maybe he knows this. Let me ask a few people. How many people here eat shrimp? Do you eat shrimp with the do you peel the skin off the shrimp before you eat it, the shell? What about crabs? Do you go in a restaurant and order a lobster tail with the shell still on it? Because what the shell of a shrimp is made out of is the same exact thing as an insect shell. It's called chitin. And I'm going to use some real science here, okay? Because, so the point being, they think they're going to replace... All right, the whole point of wanting to have people eat bugs is they're trying to weaken people. They don't want any more guys eating T-bone steak with a whole bunch of testosterone to fight back against the New World Order. Yeah, that's one of the side effects. Secondly, here's where the science comes in, okay? So they're already starting to use cricket flour in food, and a lot of people are going to get sick to this. I've known people that have food allergies. I know a woman in front of mine, she was allergic to corn. She couldn't eat anything with corn flour or cornmeal in it. Then you have a lot of people who have peanut allergies, obviously. I used to work in a restaurant. We used to have to warn people about stuff that could be deadly to their allergies. But the thing is, more people are allergic to chitin than they are any other foods out there. Secondly, someone brought up a good point on mainstream media. I think it was Fox News. Have you ever actually seen anyone smile while they're eating bugs? No, you haven't. Nobody sits there with a smile on their face eating crickets. It's usually something they'll do as a dare. Now, you're okay if you eat 1 or 2 crickets, but this is... If you're going to make it a permanent part of your diet, your everyday diet, you're going to have major side effects. But what does the New World Order care, right? We're hearing that we need to eat bugs to save Mother Earth, but it's like, screw the humans. They can all die. Here's some real science on, Science Direct. Yeah, I'm at a science website. The potential role of chitin in allergic reactions. It's well known that, it causes allergens. Let me give you a little sick example right here. I've done a lot of contracting work in the past. Now, they are known to actually be a very clean species. I'm talking about the cockroach. But if you've ever been inside a house with a cockroach infestation, you know it's very hard to breathe and it smells bad. Well, everything making up the allergens in the air isn't the actual cockroaches. It's when they molt. When they molt and they get rid of their skin, that is chitin. That's what makes up the exoskeletons of insects. Also, insects get rid of waste like we do. Go to the bathroom. Yes, they poop and pee just like, and they're not separating that waste at the bug production plant, are they? Insects also carry a lot of parasites inside of them. Very bad parasites for humans. Now they're trying to sell it off as the idea, oh, we're just making cricket flour for the time being, but what makes up a majority of that cricket flour is chitin. There's another science study done, Klaus Schwab. Chitin digestibility is dependent on feeding behaviors, which determine acidic chitinase mRNA levels in mammalian and poultry stomachs. Long story short, most mammalian animals do not have the proper acids in their stomach to properly. Now, I was talking about corn earlier. We know, listen, I'm not trying to be disgusting, but you know that the human stomach cannot even properly break down corn or the skin of corn, right? You know that. It's even the same thing with bugs. Secondly, there are some negative side effects to constantly eating the chitin. One of them is spinal cancer. Major health effects. There's only a few mammalians that have the stomachs that can obviously process chitin, and it's mainly bovine and pig and mouse. If you basically, if they're mammalians that snack on insects normally, they're usually okay. That's what's called Mother Nature. Mother Nature made it that way. Now, you know who doesn't have a problem processing chitin? Reptiles. Yeah, does that... Go figure. Reptiles do not have a problem processing chitin. Specifically, some amphibians, like frogs. A bullfrog can eat just about anything and digest it. We all know that most reptiles eat insects whole and don't have a problem processing that chitin, you know, the exoskeletons of... They don't have a problem breaking it down their stomachs. But then again, that's what they eat every day. Secondly, we do consume meat as humans. We do not eat the whole entire cow. Do we? No, we don't. It's not supposed to be. They think just because insects are on a microscopic level, they can put all the waste, all the chitin, and just mix everything into a vat and turn it into flour. And they're not separating any of the things in there. And it's disgusting. It's very dangerous for humans. And it's not even something that humans were meant to eat in the first place, because our bodies cannot properly break down. We do not have the chia enzymes in our stomach to break down chitin properly. And there's also a lot of negative side effects that go with it. Gastrointestinal issues. You're going to get... Yeah, and it's the same exact thing that are crustaceans, insects, and fungi. I don't know what they mean by fungi. I didn't know that mushrooms don't have chitin in them. Maybe there's other certain types of fungi that do. It's not normally the ones we eat, though. Yeah, and dogs had a problem breaking it down also. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe they've already looked into alternatives to put this shit in cat and dog food already. But now cats, I don't want no chitin in my cat food, but cats can eat insects and digest them. But we don't have a feline stomach.
Is transgenderizing our children and eating insects. That's what it's become. You can buy Insectin burgers now. Ooh, that sounds lovely, Insectin burgers. And they're really pushing this, folks. A friend of mine, Rachel, she had a bit of a break from the United States, went to Rocky Point in Mexico, ordered a drink of mezcal, and as a side order next to the drink, they had a little side order of crickets there for her if she felt like a snack. Unreal. Insects, it's been shown, contain a substance called chitin. There's a meme going around. You sort of see this stuff and you think, oh, is this fear-mongering? Is this true? But I've looked into it and it's actually true, folks. There's a lot of evidence that insects contain chitins. Chitins are very, very bad for humans. Chitins cause all sorts of problems, asthma, respiratory problems, all the things we're seeing from the jab. It also causes this thing called glioblastoma, which is a spinal cancer. It comes from chitins, and chitins cannot be cooked out of insects. There's no processing that will take these substances out of the insects. When you eat the insects, you are eating chitins. Chitins cannot be processed by the human body. You know, we don't eat insects, folks. You know, birds, chickens, lizards, reptiles, these things eat insects. Fish eat insects. We don't eat insects. We don't have the digestive system to be able to process certain things that are found in insects, such as chitins. And like I said, they can't be processed out. They cannot be cooked out. They are always there. So if you're eating little insect snacks or eating Insectin burgers, you're eating chitins, folks, and you're going to make yourself very sick. They'll probably say it's a side effect of some various strain of COVID or it's monkeypox or whatever they can cook up, whatever new disease they can cook up. Like I said, they just want to keep the place in a permanent state of emergency and make up any excuse they can from all the death that we're seeing from the jab. And that's what's causing all of it.